Hello everybody, welcome back to week 2 of DK sock knitting. This should be the final week. I might do it in 2 parts, but basically we've reached an exciting part of the process, which is I've now knit down 5 inches, which is my recipe, to get to the start of the decreases of the toe. So this is your last opportunity, if you're using one colour yarn, to easily take measurements for how long your leg is and cuff and how long the foot is before you start the toe decreases. If you have a sock that you're doing in 2 colours where the toe and the heel are in different colours, it makes it easy to just match up and check and compare when you're doing the second sock. But if you're doing it in 1 colour, I suggest just taking your final measurements for the length of the leg and the foot, just so that you've got peace of mind doing the next one that it's all going to match up. So I've knit 5 inches to the foot, which is the optimal length for Wayne, which is who I'm making these socks for. If you are a beginner knitter and you're worried you haven't knit socks or haven't knit socks before, or DK weight socks, and you're really worried, like, have you done enough, even though you're following the pattern that I've put the link to, and you're worried that you might have to make adjustments later, you can just use a darning needle to just thread some waste yarn through these stitches on both needles, in case you realize it's too short and you need to come back and take the toe out and then just rip back to that waste yarn, and then you just thread your needle through where the yarn is, and then it's called a lifeline, and then you'll be able to knit a bit of extra length on the leg and then on the foot, sorry, and then start your decreases for the toe again. I can definitely recommend that as saving a lot of tears down the track. But if you're fairly confident that you're following the pattern and you want to get started, we'll just go and start the decreases for the toe. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do alternate rounds. So every other round will be all knitting. And we're going to start by doing knit 1, slip, slip, knit to knit 2 together. And then when we get to the last 3 stitches, we're going to knit 2 together and knit 1. And then we'll do the same on the next needle. And then every other round, just knit all the way around. And we're going to do that until we've got the correct number of stitches based on the pattern, till we graft the toe. So let's get started. So if you haven't done a knit 1, slip, slip, knit 2 together, I'll show you how to do it. So I'm just going to pull my yarn nice and tight as always, and just go ahead and knit the first stitch. Now the next one, I'm going to slip from the front, like as if you're going towards the back, like you're going to knit, is slip, slip, and it's actually twisting the stitches the other way. And then I'm going to go in through this again to the front with the left hand needle and knit that like so. I've just caught a bit of thread there. I'll just flick that off. There we go. So then I'm going to knit across, and then I'll show you the... Now the reason we do the slip, slip, knit 2 together on one end and then the knit 2 together, knit 1 on the other end, is because this decrease leans this way. You see how oh sorry, I haven't even got that in the camera there. See how the decrease here is leaning towards this direction? So as you're going towards the toe, you want your decreases to point towards one another. So the knit 2 together on this end points it this way. This knit 1, slip, slip, knit 2 together points this way. So that's why we do that. And that way the toe will have a nice neat edge as it comes in, and then we'll graft the stitches off at the end to finish it off. So I'm just going to knit my way across. And as you knit more socks, you'll refine your pattern more. So when you start wearing your socks, you'll start to go, oh, next time I'd like to have a bit more, just a little bit more length in the foot, or maybe I want a little bit more length in the leg, or I want to shorten it. You can sort of adjust your recipe to suit whoever you're making the socks for. Oops, see, haven't caught that. All right, oh, sorry, we're up to the last 2 stitches. So what we're going to do is knit 2 together. So, right, so I'm knitting these 2 together. I'll just do that again. So I've got the second to last 2 stitches, and I'm just going to knit those 2 as normal, like as if it's 1 stitch. Knit those together and knit 1. And now we're going to swap round to the next needle. And we're going to do our knit 1, slip, slip, knit 2 together. Knit 1, slip, slip, knit 2 together. Then knit our way to the end again. I'll come back to you when I'm at the end. Hi everyone, I've just re-recording how to do the decreases at either end, just to make sure that you know what you're doing, because I had a issue with the camera and it fell over, and I'm not sure that it, and at some stage my knitting went out of view. So I just want to make sure everyone's really clear on how to do it. I don't want to leave you up in the air, seeing as this is a tutorial. So making sure I've got this in view for you. I've done my knitting round, and now I'm going to do another round of decreases. So coming in to do my knit 1, and then I'm going to slip these stitches. So I'm coming in from the left and going up to the back, slip, slip, and then coming in the middle. Can you see that? In and up to the front, and knitting those together, and then knitting my way towards the end. So now you can see there's 2, if I show you, there's 2 decreases, and they're pointing from the right to the left. So now we're going to work our way back over to the toe, the end of this row needle. So I'm at the end, the last 3 stitches, so knitting these 2 together and knitting the last stitch, and then flipping it to the second needle, so knit 1, slip, slip, knit 2 together, knitting all the way to the end, Right, so we're at the last 3 stitches, so we're knitting these 2 together. And knitting the last stitch. So now we've done one round, a second round of decreases. and you'll start to see this is starting to point inwards. So now I'll do a knit round, then decreases, knit round, decreases, knit round, until I get to the right number of stitches left on both needles, and then we'll come back and do the Kitchener stitch to finish that off, and then we can pick up for the heel. Right, we're going to do the knit 2 together at the end, and then knit 1 for the last stitch on the end of the needle. So now this round will be knitting all the way around till we get back to the beginning of round, and then we're going to do that every second row. We'll be knitting, and in between row we'll be doing knit 1, slip, slip, knit 2 together, and then knit 2 together, knit 1 at the end, until we have the right number of stitches on our needle. So check your pattern, and I'll come back to you once I'm ready to do the grafting of the toe. That'll be another segment.